In these 4 days, I'm going to continue to unfold using Bhagavad Gita as the stable datum to enhance personal excellence, and I'll be going through what I left over in Bangalore on the 7th chapter of the Gita. So I'll be continuing the verses from the verse number 8. Before I enter into the verses, just a small introduction for you to just feel the ambience of what is being unfolded. In a certain village, not very thickly populated, situated on the banks of a river, there existed a lady who was highly respected and revered by one and all. This old lady was on the banks of a river, very, very respected, and it so happened one night when even the dogs were tired after barking, when everyone had gone to sleep, the whole night was very still with no whisper altogether. Suddenly that silence of the night was shattered, the story goes, was shattered by the crying of this old lady in the middle of the night. And the crying was, "I am burning, my tenement is burning, I am burning, my tenement is burning." She goes on screaming at the top of her voice, "My tenement is burning, I am burning." And as this voice was so loud, people, it is said, the story goes, with buckets of water, they come out of their respective houses, charge to this old lady's house there, which was just a tenement. And as they charged, they find there were no traces of fire at all. But the crying of this old lady was so real, so authentic was the crying. So with buckets of water, they all charged with the hope, thinking maybe inside she's burning. So they enter into the house, the hut of this old lady, and to their surprise they find, the story goes, this old lady is seated in the corner of her hut, absolutely intact, no traces of fire, but she was continuing with closed eyes saying, "My tenement is burning, I am on fire, my tenement is burning, please save me, my tenement is burning." Now these people were shocked. Up to now, she was so sane, very respected in the village, and now suddenly what has happened to this lady? So therefore, they go and shake her up and open her eyes and say, "I don't see any traces of fire. What is the fire that you are talking of?" This old lady opens her eyes and sees a lot of people with buckets of water, and it seems she suddenly starts laughing. From crying, she starts laughing. Please digest this story. She starts laughing, and then she says, right, "These external buckets of water that you have brought cannot put down the fire that I'm talking of. These external buckets of water cannot put down the fire I'm talking of." All right, and therefore I'm not talking of an external fire. The fire cannot be put down by buckets of these external water. Thus saying, she closes her eyes and continues screaming, "I am burning, my tenement is burning." She goes on screaming. Everybody leave their hut there and thinking, this old lady, one of the symptoms of old age, the old lady is gone mad. It seems, the story goes, all go back. But there was one youngster, when he went back to his house, he could not sleep. With the words of this old lady was going on ringing in his mind. Hey, what did the lady say? The lady said, "These external buckets of water cannot put down the fire I'm talking." And not only she said that, she also said, "Not only I am burning, but all of you are burning. I am aware that I am burning. All of you are not aware I am burning. And this fire cannot be put down by these external buckets of water." Now these words went on ringing. What is the fire she's talking of? She says, "Not only I am burning, but all of you are burning." Not only I am burning, but all of you are burning, and this fire cannot be put down by external buckets. What is that fire she's talking of? This youngster could not sleep because the words of this old lady was so real, was so authentic. Right? What is this? He went on doing manana. He went on reflecting on this. When he went on reflecting on this there, he could not get an answer. And therefore the story goes, this person leaves his house, goes to the other side of the village, meets a master, meets a monk, bows down to it, and he says, what is this fire? The lady is saying that I am burning. I find her words are true. Something is missing in that. What is it? Thus it seems, she asked, and the master said, close your eyes, look within. And when he looked within, to his great surprise, this man came in touch with the fact, she is not talking of the external fire, she is talking of the internal fire. So the internal fire of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsalya. The fire of anger, jealousy, hatred, conflict, chaos, pathos. Right? This is the fire she's talking of. And definitely this internal fire of anger, jealousy cannot be put down by these external buckets of water. Just feel the sound. So these external buckets of water cannot be put down this fire. And friends, when you all of us, let us closely look within ourselves. When we closely look within ourselves, is it not true that the fire of anger, the fire of jealousy, the fire of upset, I find so many people feel miserable. They look at somebody happy, they become unhappy. How can the rascal be happy when I am unhappy? We look at somebody being happy, we become unhappy. How many of us, in all my workshops have said, how many of us feel ourselves as a failure because we define our failure by looking at somebody's success? You find somebody successful and you define that you are a failure. And this starts burning in you. Something is just a result. Success and failure is an interpretation of a result. And therefore, if you closely observe, friends, as this old lady says, everybody is burning with a fire of conflict, jealousy, hatred. And this old lady said, these external buckets of water cannot put down this fire within. So therefore, so this youngster asked this master, the guru, how do you put down this fire of anger, jealousy, conflict, chaos? Because if this fire is not put down, you may live in Switzerland, you may live in the Himalayas, but you will be burning within. You will be miserable within. So therefore, this guru asked the question, when a student recognizes that there is a fire within, that's what the first chapter of the Gita says. It's called Vishada Yoga. Vishada means sorrow. And Lord Krishna helps how to convert this Vishada into an yoga. Yoga means yuj, to join. So therefore the first chapter of the Gita, understand, is Vishada. Vishada means sorrow. And Lord Krishna helps in all the 17 chapters how to convert the sorrow into an yoga. Yoga means yuj, to join. And therefore, if you can join your sorrow, transform your sorrow. Please see, at the end of the 18th chapter, Arjuna says, Nashto mohaha smritir labdaha. My moha is gone, I have gained my understanding. And therefore, if that happens, that person is in a state of enlightenment. So therefore, this student, we ought to first recognize there is a fire of anger, jealousy, hatred, upset. And most of us, we feel this fire exists because the external situation is in this. 95% to 99% more than the external situation. The lower energies of the Jivatma, the lower energies which we have not refined, brings about anger, jealousy, hatred. And when you recognize this there, then the teaching can really happen. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. When Arjuna realizes this, and then he sees this sorrow which is beginning a breakdown in Arjuna. Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishashyati vepatuhu sharire me roma harshaha jayate gandivam sramsate hastat. There is a breakdown in Arjuna. He says he can't even hold the bow and arrow. My hair is standing erect. My limbs are shaking. Right? When he discovers this breakdown, and then he sees the breakdown is coming within, the Lord helps how to convert this breakdown into a breakthrough. So the first thing, friends, for any spiritual progress to happen, first we have to realize, because the ordinary world continues in changing the external world, we never work on changing the internal world. The ideal situation is, as you change the external world, you have to change the internal world. As you go about changing the external world, you have to change the internal world. But if you go on changing the external world and the internal world of your emotions and thoughts are not changed, then you will find, looking at somebody happy, you will feel miserable. Looking at somebody's success, you define your failure, and thus we mess up our life. The cosmos becomes an inner chaos. And therefore, when this youngster recognizes, there is a fire within, then the master starts his Upadesha in the Upanishads. In the Upanishads, once you recognize this state, there is a chaos within, there is a fire within. This fire cannot be put down by these buckets. How can this fire be put down? When you realize this, only then you are available to the blessings of the Gita, the blessings of the Upanishad, the blessings of all enlightened masters. So the friends, listen carefully. Look within ourselves. You find that this conflict exists. The Guru asked the Shishya, go and do tapas and find out what is this conflict. You have recognized your life is of conflict. What is this cause for this conflict, this inner fire? In the Upanishad we find, so therefore the student goes, satapo tapyata. He goes and does tapas. Satapas taptva. He does tapas. There is fire of conflict within me. And in everybody's life, some level of conflict is there. So Guru says, doesn't spoon feed in the Upanishad. He says, go find out what is the genesis of this conflict. So he goes to find out the genesis of this conflict. He goes, does tapas, comes to the master and says, oh master, I found out the cause for conflict. Listen attentively before I enter the verses. The cause for conflict, the Shishya tells the Guru, is because man has got choice. Man has got choice, therefore there is conflict. If man has not got a choice, kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. I can do this, I can do otherwise, or I do otherwise, do something else. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, I need not even do. Anyatha kartum shakyam, I can do otherwise. Because man has got choice, therefore there is conflict. If we don't have choice, there is no conflict. You have a choice who to get married, and that confuses people. Who to choose. If you have no choice there, then you just go mechanically. So the student tells this, the master acknowledges the student and says, oh my student, just because you have got a choice doesn't lead you to conflict. Even though you have choice is the cause, just because you have no choice doesn't lead to conflict. Think little more deeply. What is that which pressurizes choice, which leads to conflict? Choice is a great freedom, an option. But something pressurizes choice. And what is that? Go and find out. Go and do tapas, he says. Satapo tapyata. He goes and does tapas. When he goes and does tapas, comes back, the student says, oh master, I've seen. Yes, it is just not choice which leads me to conflict. The student tells the master, behind choice, there is a want, there is a desire. That desire pressurizes choice. That desire pressurizes choice. Listen very carefully. As I'm talking, you don't think.